Hello and welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for being here. My name is Millie, and on this channel I talk about knitting and crochet. I share works in progress, finished objects, a few knitting tutorials, and I also share things that I am planning to make. And today I'm going to be sharing with you my gift knitting plans for this year. I know it's a little bit late, but sometimes I find myself doing these things last minute, and I'm sure I'm not the only one. So I thought that I would come out here and share with you what I am planning on making. But on my list of gift knitting is a lot of hats. And I also found a few figureless gloves that I want to try this year. I think I've only made figureless gloves once. So I think it's a very easy, quick project to make for gift giving. And especially now that it started getting cold, I think it will come in handy. And I also think it's a good quick project because it doesn't take up a lot of time and it doesn't take up a lot of yarn. So you can use some leftover yarn. And so that is what I'm planning on doing. So today I have a list of things that I'm planning on making, and this list also includes some of my favorite projects that I've worked on in the past. So I have a few, I think I have about 3 things on the list that I have made multiple times, and I wanted to share that with you. And I also have a few samples that I have made, not recently, but they were in my pile of finished objects. And they are hats, and they are kind of similar to some of the things that I'm going to be sharing with you on the list. And everything that I'm going to be talking about is going to be linked down below. I have made a bundle on Ravelry, and I'm going to link it down below so that if you're interested, you can follow the link and go look at the project or the pattern that I'm going to be talking about on Ravelry. And some of these patterns are free, some are for sale, so you can buy them on Ravelry and get them in a PDF format. And others are, I have crochet and I have knitting all mixed in there, because this year I want to try some crochet things. Like I saw some figureless gloves that I really liked, and I think I can do it. So that is what I've included on my list. But I'm going to start off by showing you some samples of what I have made. And when I am making hats, sometimes I use just one pattern, and it will be like a free pattern because there are so many free patterns out there. And then I'll customize that pattern and like add a different stitch pattern, make a different size, use a different yarn, because if you can use the same pattern, but if you change the yarn, then you change the gauge, and that gives you a different size. So I have done that a lot. And this is my favorite way to make a hat. And this is double moss stitch that I like. This is my favorite stitch when I'm knitting hats. Actually, one of my favorite. And so, for example, for this hat, I was making a lot of hats, and I love this yarn so much, the yarn that I used for this hat. And so I had leftovers of these, and I had leftovers of this after making a hat, and so I decided to color block it. And this hat was made using a yarn that was discontinued. I believe it was a red hat soft yarn that was a bulky weight number 5, and they discontinued it, but I still had a little bit of this left and a little bit of this left. And I'm going to link this project down below so that you can see all the materials that I used. And so, because I ran out of the yarn and it was no longer available for sale at the store, that's why I decided to use up everything I had, and I color blocked this. And then this is a larger size, and then this is the same pattern that I used, but I made a smaller size, and I think I used a different yarn. I think this might be Hobby Lobby Yarn Bee soft and sleek or something, but it's a bulky weight number 5. And then I have, this is also like a discontinued yarn. And what I did with this hat was I made it plain, but since I was in a hurry, I wanted to finish it fast. I added a cable detail on the side over here to just give it a little bit of interest. And then on all my hats now, I use detachable pom-poms. So you can find this on Amazon, and I'm going to leave a link down below where you can click and go find it on Amazon. But I love this a lot because when you're washing your hat, you just take it off and then you put it back on. And also sometimes I know that there are times when I don't want to have a pom-pom on my hat, and so I take it off. And then I know there are people who don't like pom-poms. And so if you make one for someone and they don't like pom-poms, then they can take it off. So that is why I like it a lot. And then for me, if I'm in a hurry, which when I'm gift knitting, I find myself in a hurry all the time, I like using a bulky weight number 5 for my hats. So all these are made with number 5, and it goes really fast. I can knit one in, if I'm on a typical work day, I can knit one in 3 evenings. And so that makes it easy for me to have gifts finished as quickly as possible. The other favorite hat that I like to make is this. This is just a plain 2x2 rib. And the reason I like this is because it fits a lot of different sizes. So because it's really stretchy, look at how stretchy it is. So that means that it can fit an adult, it can fit a kid, it can fit a teen. And for the kid, they'll just have to fold the brim, and then it will become a smaller hat and they can wear it, and it will be warm around their ears. And also, even for adults, they can fold if they want it to be fitted, but they can also leave it, so they can also wear it without folding it so that it becomes a slouchy hat. So I like making this one a lot because typically I can gift these to guys, I can gift it to ladies, and it fits, and it's kind of universal, or it fits all kinds of people. So that's why I like it a lot. And you can use, like this one I knitted using worsted weight. But if you want it to be a little bit thicker and snug, you can also use the bulky weight number 5, which is my favorite. But what you do is you're going to cast on fewer stitches. So the yarn, like I said, when it comes to the yarn, I like using a bulky weight number 5 when I'm in a hurry. And I have some samples. This is one of my favorite. And this is from Hobby Lobby. And this is the Premier Anti-Peeling Bamboo. And it's a chunky, it's a bulky weight number 5. And this one is enough to make one hat. In fact, you'll make an adult hat and you have some left. And it's still available there. And it comes in, there are not many colors in this line of yarn, but there's plenty for you to choose from. And I like the neutral colors most because if you're knitting a gift for someone and you don't really know what color they like, a neutral color is always a safe bet. And they also have these soft and sleek chunky. This is also a number 5, but I like this better because this is more soft. This is softer than this one. So that is the yarn. So if you're looking to make a quick project and you don't have much time, I think a bulky number 5 is good. If you knit fast, you can also use a number 4. I usually don't go to the extra bulky yarns when I'm making hats, but they are also good if you're in a hurry. So now let's dive into what I have on my list. And I'm going to go quickly because I have a few things lined up, and I've made some of them And I found some more when I was doing my research, and I plan on making them later. But I also have some that have been on my wish list for a long time. So I have a mix of old and new, and all these projects are all these patterns are available on Ravelry, and some are free and some are for sale. So I'm going to start by my very, very favorite, and I'm looking on my computer, so I'm gonna be looking down sometimes. So this is the bubble beanie hat, and the designer is Kristen McDonnell, and she has a YouTube channel, and she goes by Studio Knit on Ravelry and Studio Knit everywhere on the web. So this is a chunky beanie. It's made this one is actually made with a bulky weight number 7, but the yarn that she used for the sample has a I think it's wool. And so even if you when you're knitting with wool, even when it's a thick weight like a bulky number 7, it still feels light enough. But when I bought this pattern on Etsy, and I have made so many hats out of it, and I discovered that the best yarn for me when I was working on this hat was the Scarfie yarn by Lion Brad, and I think it's a bulky weight number 5. I'll leave all the information in the description here. But the reason why I like this hat is made with the bubble stitch, and it looks really, really nice, especially if you make it in variegated yarn. But you can also make it in a plain yarn. But I've made mine in plain yarn, and I've also made it in variegated, and I like the variegated the most. But also her sample was made in a variegated yarn. It was actually made with a yarn that is discontinued. It used to be like 1, 2, 3, 4 colors braided together. And so you have different colors. And so when you make this hat with a variegated yarn, it really makes the stitch pop. And so I've made it so many times. I've made it for gift giving, and I've made it for my family, and it's always a winner. So that's the first one on my list. So the next one on this list is the Cable Staghorn Whalebone Hat Beanie. Oh, what a mouthful. Such a long name for this beanie. But since I'm going to leave all the information here, the designer here is Margaret. I can't read her last name, but I'll leave all that information up here. And oh, I forgot to say that the first one is for sale for, you can buy it on Ravelry. It's $5.80, but it's worth every penny. And then this one is $1.99 on Ravelry, and this one is made out of worsted weight. But the reason why I picked this one, or the reason why I'm interested in this one, is because I love cables so much. And this one is an all-over cable hat, but I'm not gonna make an all-over cable hat if I'm in a hurry. So I'll just use one strategic cable and then make the rest of it in plain stockinette. But this one is made in all cables, and it's the Staghorn cable, and it looks really nice. And let's see, and the size, it comes in different sizes. So the sizes are small, medium, and large. So and there's 123 projects on this one, and it's been there for quite a bit. But the reason that I liked it a lot was because of all the cables, because if you know me, you know that I love cables. And I think cables are a very easy way of adding detail or adding some interest to your project, and that is why I chose it. The third hat that I saw on Ravelry and loved it's a new release. And this one just came out this month, November 2024. And the hat is called A Twisted Affair by Jorge Locatelli. And this is one of my favorite designers. I've made a bunch of things designed by her. And when I saw that she had a free pattern, I was so excited, and I quickly put it on my wish list. And her patterns are really well written, and I have bought a ton of them, and I've also knitted some of her free patterns. And this one is made out of a bulky weight number 7. The sizes are medium and large. And she gives us the measurements there for what it's the sizes that it's gonna fit is 22.5 to 23 and 3/4 inches, or 56 to 59.5 centimeters. This one is also another all over cable, which is like I said, I love cables, and it's an all over cable, but it doesn't look hard at all. So it's a cable, and the brim is made with 2x2 ribbing. So that definitely I'm going to make that. And as we speak right now, it's free, but I think it's going to be a free pattern because occasionally she will release free patterns, and they usually stay free. I know that some designers will release a pattern and it will be free, and then when you come back later, it's no longer free. But I think for her, every time I've seen a free pattern, it has stayed free. So, but as we speak right now, it's free and it's downloadable. You can download it and get started working on this, especially because it's a bulky weight number 7. So it's gonna knit up really fast. And then the other hat I have over here on my list is Old. And this one came out, the pattern was released in 2012, and there's a lot of projects on this one. So it's more than 10,000 projects on this, but the reason why I picked it is because I have knitted it multiple times, especially for guys. And it's a twisted rib for the brim, and then the yarn recommended, or the yarn it's designed for, is a worsted weight, and you need US 7 or 4.5 millimeters knitting needles, and the sizes available are from baby all the way to adult extra large. So you can definitely find a size that works for you here. And I have knitted this one many times. That's why I included it, because this is typically like one of the hats that I would use to just customize. Especially, it's a free hat, and so you can use this, you can customize, you can add a stitch pattern. It has a subtle stitch pattern that it's very it's not super detailed, but it's really, really beautiful. And so, and also some of the samples are made in variegated yarn. Some of them are made in just one plain color. And so that's why I picked it. And like I said, I've made it before. I've knitted it before multiple times for my boys, and I like it a lot. So it still remains in my my bundle, because I'm definitely gonna make it again. The next hat that I have had my eye on since it was released in 2018, and I think this year I'm gonna make this. It's the Snap. And this is by Tin Can Knits. And if you've been on Ravelry, or if you've been knitting for a while, you have had Tin Can Knits. She produces, they design easy patterns, beginner friendly, and they give you step-by-step instructions. So I have knitted a lot of sweaters that they have designed, and I have had my eye on this hat for a long time. And this is a very interesting hat because it uses 3 fingering weights held together. So if you have some leftover fingering weight, you can mix and match and knit this hat, and that is what I'm planning to do. So the recommended needle size is a US 7 or 4.5 millimeters, and the sizes are all the way from baby, you have a toddler size, a child size, an adult size, a small, and then an adult large. So there are so many options. But this one is for sale on Ravelry, and it goes for $6. But I think it's worth every penny because it's so beautiful, and I'm going to be casting on this one for sure, because I have a lot of yarn, leftover fingering weight yarn that I can put to good use. And it looks like a reverse stockinette, if I am not wrong. but it starts with a dark color and then it fades out. So I think it was designed or it was released at, around that time when the fading projects, like the fade, I don't know how to put it, but there was a period way back in 2018 that a lot of designers were designing projects that were fading from a darker color to a lighter color, or however you want to look at it. And I think this is when it was designed and released. And so the brim over here is darker and it fades to lighter colors towards the crown up here. So I really like it, and I can see a lot of possibilities. You can make it light, you can make it darker, and I have some red and gray yarns that I have in my stash that are left over from some shawls that I made some time ago, and I'm thinking that that's what I'm gonna use for this. So the next one is a classic ribbed hat, and this one is by Vanessa Baudry. And this is a free pattern. And the reason why I included it here is because I have this hat here. And if you're interested in making this, then you can use this pattern, the classic ribbed hat. You can use that to make this hat that I just showed you now. And this one is made out of a worsted weight, and it's one size. And you're gonna need between 150 to 175 yards. And then for the worsted weight, this one is made using US size 9 knitting needles, which is 5.5 millimeters. And the gauge is 20 stitches in the 2x2, in the knit 2 purl 2 ribbing. And it's a free pattern. So that is really good. So you can if you're new to making hats, this one is a good one to practice with. The next one is Jason's cashmere hat, and this one is by Melissa Thompson. And let me see, this also is available for free, and I'm surprised because it has some 2x2 ribbing intermixed with the basic cable. So it has all the elements that I love in a knitting project. And so the cable stitch here is the basic cable stitch, and it's there's a knit 2. I'm thinking it's a cable stitch, which is like, it looks like a 2x2 cable stitch, and then you have 2 purl stitches and then 2 knit stitches. And so it's also going to be stretchy, I believe, but not as stretchy as this one. And it also comes in one size. So I'm thinking that it's going to fit most adults. But if you wanted to make it larger or smaller, you can do some calculations and either cast on fewer stitches or add one more repeat of the pattern. And this one has a lot of projects, and it's old. It's been there for a while. And so it has more than 10,000 projects. So it's also a good project to go look on other people's projects and see what they have done and get some ideas, read people's notes, and see if there are any customizations that people have done. And so that is why I added it there. But I liked the fact that it has the 2x2 ribbing and the cable mixed in there. And then the next one that I have on my list is the Hibana hat. And I found this when I was browsing on Ravelry, and it's newish. It was released this year. And this one has a mix of cable and knit ribbing in between. It has one of those subtle cable stitches that looks really nice. And then it's made out of a DK weight. All the other hats that I've mentioned previously are either made out of a worsted weight or a bulky weight. This one is made out of a DK weight. And it uses US 3 or 3.25 millimeter knitting needles. So this one is gonna take you a little bit longer to knit, but it's still doable. and it comes in a medium size and a large size. And it's also available, it's available for purchase for $5, and there's 128 projects already. So I liked all the samples that the designer has made, and so I'm definitely gonna make these with some of my DK weight. And then the next project, I decided to look for a colorwork hat because I've started to be so much interested in doing colorwork, and I was looking for a colorwork that is easy and beginner friendly. And so I found this mountain mist hat, and this one is another design by Tin Can Knits, and I think it says it's published in the Stretch Brew, and I think that's an ebook. And you can purchase this for $6 on Ravelry, and it's made out of worsted weight, and it has 3 colors. So it has the main color, and then it has 3 other contrasting colors, but the color work looks really easy, so it's beginner friendly. That's why I picked it, because I don't want to work on something complicated, and I thought that this would make a good beginner friendly project for someone who's trying to learn color work. And if you change the colors that you're using, you can make it for a lady or you can make it for a guy. So that is why I also liked it. And let's see down here, and the sizes are all the way from newborn to adult large, which is really good. And so that's why I picked it, because I thought it looks easy, it is a color work, and I was looking for a color work project. And then there are so many options, there are so many sizes that you can knit, all the way from baby to adult large. And then the next one on my list is the favorite bulky ribbed beanie. And this is another basic 2x2 beanie, but the reason why I picked it, it's because it's made out of bulky weight number 7. And I thought that if someone is struggling to figure out how many stitches to cast, especially if you're a beginner knitter, this is a good place to start if you're looking for a quick project that is made out of bulky weight. So that is why I included it here in my lineup. And it's also free, and you need you can either use US 8, I think maybe the brim here is knitted with the US 8, and then the body is knitted out of US 10. That's what I'm thinking, but it's also one size. But for these 2x2 or 1x1 ribbing hats, they really stretch, and so they tend to fit a lot of people. And this is just a basic beanie, and so it's easy to make, and it's gonna go really fast because you're using bulky weight number 7. And then the other hat here that I found is also it has a mix of cables. It has like a simple cables, and it has 2 knitted stitch in the middle. But this is a very subtle cable, and this pattern is called Sea Spray Beanie by Emily Sheehan, and it's for sale on Ravelry for $6. And there's already 115 projects on it, and it was released in October of 2020. So there are a few projects that you can look at to see what people have done. And the yarn that is recommended for this, or the yarn that it's designed for, is a worsted weight number 4. And so you're gonna need US 7 or 4.5 millimeters knitting needles. And then it's an adult size. So there's only one size, but it's got a brim that is folded, and that is why I liked it, because and I liked the stitch pattern, that's the cable pattern. It's like a subtle cable pattern. It just makes it look so elegant. And so that's why I thought it was a good project to think about, and I added it to my wish list. And the next pattern on my lineup is a washcloth. And I love to make washcloths for gift giving because they make quick gifts and they are very useful. And they can be used in the kitchen and they can be used as washcloths. So you can use it as a dishcloth or you can use it as a washcloth. It depends on, whatever you want to do with it. It's one of those versatile projects. And I like it also because it knits up really fast and you don't need a lot of yarn and you don't need a lot of skill. And I have a video tutorial on how to make a corner-to-corner washcloth, and I'm going to link it down below. So if you're interested, you can check out that video. And I'm also going to leave this pattern that I found on Ravelry, and it's a free pattern, and it's called Dishcloth Recipe by Robin West. And it's a free download. Typically, dishcloths or washcloths are made out of a worsted weight, and gauge is not important when you're making a washcloth because you're just gonna make it as big or as small as you want it. And you're gonna need a US 7 or you can even use US 8. I've knitted some with US 8 knitting needles. And you only need a little bit of yarn. So 50 to 60 yards or a little bit more depending on the size of the washcloth that you're going to make. And you can use any cotton yarn, but if I'm making a dishcloth or one for the kitchen, I use dish yarn. And then if I'm making one for the shower, then I use Hobby Lobby I Love This yarn or any other kind of more premium type cotton yarn. As long as it's a cotton yarn, it's gonna work. While I was looking for some quick gifts to knit, I found some fingerless gloves, and I have had my eye on these fingerless gloves for a while, but I think that I'm going to make some this year because they are small, quick knits, and I have a lot of leftover yarn that I can utilize for this purpose. I have a lot of like merino wool that's left over from projects that I've worked on in the past, and I can definitely find something that would work well for, I definitely would find something in my stash that would work really well. So these are, they are basic fingerless gloves, and the designer is called Johanna Gitzvik, and they are called Sala Basic Fingerless Mitts. And they are designed for a DK weight, and you need 109 to 150 yards, and she's designed a small, medium, and large size. And these are free. And they look simple enough because up here you have 1x1 ribbing, and then the rest of it is stockinette, and there's a little bit of ribbing over here, and it's 1x1 ribbing, I can tell just from looking. So that is the first set of gloves that I am looking at, and I think I've never made fingerless gloves before, so this will be a first project for me, and I think this is a good project to start with because it's pretty basic, and so that is why I picked it. And it's also a free pattern, but also there are about 572 projects that people have made. The pattern was released in February 2016, and I think it's a good place to start for a beginner. If you've never knitted fingerless gloves, this would be a good beginner-friendly pattern, and that is why I picked it. And the next item on my list is another set of mitts or fingerless gloves, and these ones are a little bit more intricate. And I found these when I was browsing through the popular patterns on Ravelry, and these are called Cloudburst, but their designer's name is Ariane Gray. And these might take a little bit longer to knit because they are knitted out of fingering weight, but they have a nice lace pattern over in the back, and that is why I liked them. They look really pretty, and they are knitted in one size, which is a woman's medium, and these are also free. And this pattern has been around for a while. It was released in 2018, but there is more than 3,000 projects logged on Ravelry. So it seems to be a popular pattern, and I think I'm gonna give it a try. It looks really beautiful, and they have that they are fingerless, but they have the thumb. They are the kind that have a thumb. I don't know how to put it, but I'm gonna leave a picture here for you to see what I'm talking about. So I like them a lot. Next on my lineup is another. I actually have a lot of fingerless gloves here because I found some crochet fingerless gloves that I really loved, and I added them here. And this is one of the ones that I really liked in crochet, and it's made out of a granny square. And it's called Fingerless Granny Square Mix by Catherine McLennan. And it's on sale for $5.30, and it was released in March of 2020, and it's made out of a DK weight. And it looks really cute. So I'm thinking you make one granny square, and then you make the curve, and you make the ribbing over here. So it looks really simple, and I love making granny squares. And there's a ton of yarn that I have that can be used for a granny square, so that's why I picked it, and I'm definitely gonna make these. In fact, I think I have some granny squares that I was making samples for something and I didn't use them. I could probably convert those into these gloves. I like them so much. And then we have these other, this is called Stellar Fingerless Gloves by Mary Onorati. And this is another crochet glove. And the reason why I added it to my list is because I have been wanting to learn the star stitch. And these are made out of a combination of a star stitch and a single crochet. And I've been looking at the star stitch, and I was wanting to make a blanket with it, but I think this would be a good project for me to practice so that I can decide if I really want to make a star stitch blanket. And if I like it, then I'll go and start that blanket, because it's been one of the patterns that I want to learn how to do. And my plan was to crochet a blanket using that stitch, but I haven't started it yet. And so when I saw these gloves, I thought that it would be a good opportunity for me to practice that stitch, and this will give me an idea of what to expect. And the gloves are designed for a DK weight, and you need a 5mm crochet hook or H. You can purchase for $5 on Ravelry, and you will get a downloadable PDF pattern. And this came out in 2021, and there are 58 projects already. So definitely the granny square and this one, I know for sure that I want to try them out. And then I decided that if I'm going to make a crochet mitts or gloves, fingerless gloves, why not make just the basic fingerless, why not make just the basic double crochet gloves? And there's a pattern here by Sarah Zimmerman, and it's being called a 50-minute fingerless gloves. I probably should give it a try and see if I can have them done and ready to go in 50 minutes. And I think I can. They look simple enough, they are easy, they are made out of Aran weight, so I'm thinking I can use a worsted weight, and you need a 5mm crochet hook or H, and it's one size. So if you're looking to make a quick gift, a pair of mitts to gift to someone, then I think this would be a good project, because I'm thinking an hour, and if you're really good at crochet, you could even do this quicker than 1 hour. And then I have another set of mitts that I found, and these are called the Ridged Fingerless Gloves, and these are made of the back loop, I guess, single crochet. And these are going for $5. And then the yarn recommended is a worsted weight, and you need a hook size either 4.5 millimeters or 5.5 millimeters, and you only need 108 yards. So very quick project. And then I found, since I'm on the crochet here, I found a bulky hat that I would like to try. And I think this one would also go really, really fast. And this is the easiest, actually the name of the hat is the easiest crochet hat ever. That's what the designer called it. And it's by Ye for Yarn Patterns. And this one is made out of okay, let's see. I think it's made out of bulky weight number 7. Let me see what hometown, Lion Brad hometown yarn, I think it's a 7. No, it's a 5. So it's made out of a bulky weight. So it's gonna crochet, it's gonna work up really fast. And it's also a free pattern. And you can download it on, let me see if it's it's available for free. I think you click on the link and it takes you to the website where the pattern is. And also there's a click here for the free version of the written pattern and a video tutorial. So there's a video tutorial to go with this if you're new to crocheting. And I think I will follow that tutorial because I am not very good at making garments in crochet. I'm good at making flat things like scarves and blankets. And then I have a scarf here that I added to my list. And this is a Ocean Breeze scarf with fringe. I love scarf with fringe. And I think that's why I added it here. But I also think it's made lengthwise. And it's made out of single crochet. Think through the back loop. That's what it looks like. And this one is designed by Olga Vogel. And it's made out of Caron cakes. Caron cotton cakes is the sample that she made is out of that. And you can buy these for $5. And you will need, so this is a worsted weight, and you will need a 5 millimeter crochet hook or H, and it's an adult size, and you need between 600 and 633 yards to complete this scarf. And it looks good in variegated, so if I'm making this, I'm gonna use variegated yarn because then it pops. And I have a ton of yarn that is variegated that I can use for this. And then the next scarf here is another crochet scarf, and this one is one of those infinity scarves that's made, and it's made out of another variegated yarn, and it's made out of a shell stitch. And this one is, the designer for this one is Hooked by Robin. And I like her patterns, and she has a lot of video tutorials. So this one is available for free, and you can also go to, there's a YouTube link here in her pattern where you can find it. You can follow a video tutorial if you're new to this kind of stitch, or if you're new to the shell stitch, which is what it's made out of. And then there's also a lot of, if you click on the link to her blog, I'm sure you're going to find a lot of information. I usually, I've crocheted some of her patterns, like some of her blanket patterns. So I like the way her patterns are, and they're easy to follow. And this one doesn't look that complicated. And then the last item on my lineup is a DC all-day triangle scarf. And this one is by Tonya Bush, and it's for sale for $3.99, for $3.99. That's how much it's going for. And this one is designed for a DK weight, and she says light fingering plus light fingering. So, and the reason why I picked it is because it's designed for the Yarn Bee Rainbow Rhapsody yarn, which I have here. I've had this in my stash for a long time. And when I bought it, it looked so beautiful. And then I thought I knew what I was going to make with it. And I never knitted or crocheted anything with it. And it's been sitting there and I need to put it to some good use. And it has this nice, beautiful pink. And I love pink. And so this is what I'm going to use. I'm going to use this yarn for this scarf. And it's a triangle scarf. It's basic. You make a triangle until I guess you run out of yarn. So that's what I'm gonna do. So that is all the stuff that I have on my lineup. And like I said, I have made some of them and I'm going to be making some of them. And I'm probably going to be starting on my gift knitting the week after Thanksgiving. And I'm going to leave everything that I've talked about. I'm going to leave links in the description below. Leave a comment below and let me know if you have knitted or crocheted any of these projects or if any of these interest you. And if anything that I talked about interests you, you can click on the bundle that I'm going to link down below and you can find details about each of these projects on Ravelry. So whatever you're working on, whether you're knitting or crocheting, I hope that you're having a wonderful time. And until next time, happy knitting!